Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on yet another lovely Lightline webinar series. This afternoon, we are going to talk about how to light a house from lighting layout to choosing the perfect fixture for this space. When should we think about lighting? I personally think about lighting all the time. Lighting is an essential element of design, and if you're redecorating a room or building a house from scratch, you should plan for lighting as you plan the space. What should we consider? Light for night. It's always important to light the space for when there's no natural light. You need to consider the colors in the space. You also need to consider what color temperature you're going to use. Always design for when natural light is not available to you. I always have people tell me, oh, well, there's a window there. Well, a window is great during daylight hours, but when you are working on a lighting layout, it's always very important to imagine the space in the darkest of night on a moonless night, so you are prepared for every possibility. You need to think about colors in the space. We only see light when it's reflected. A smooth white wall can only reflect 80% of the light, whereas darker walls and colors absorb a tremendous amount of light. So you need to ask the right questions. What colors are the walls going to be? What's the flooring made of? Is it textured? What is the color of the flooring? Are you putting any colors on the ceiling? Is the ceiling made out of wood? Is it going to be a non-reflective surface? What colors are the kitchen cabinets going to be, or your bookcases? You need to know the reflective value of what you're going of the space you're going to light. Lighting can make a space look warm and welcoming or bright and creative. We need to consider two major things: the 3 layers of light, which is general lighting, task lighting, and accent lighting. The second thing you need to consider is the color temperature you're going to use for lighting. So the 3 layers of light, the 3 layers of light in your space should always be considered in every space. The more layers you use in a space, the more elegant and refined it looks. Then you need to think about the tools that are available to you. Are you going to use a spot in a certain location? Are you going to use a wall washer? Are you going to accent the art in the background? How are you going to do that? Are you going to highlight the bookcases? These are all things you need to think about, and you need to think about how you're using your lighting to paint light into the space. General lighting is the underpinning of any space. It helps fill the room with light, giving you a feeling of well-being and allowing you to see who and what is in the space. We always need general lighting in a space. Task lighting is really your work light, and it's most often recognized as under cabinet lighting, but it can be all sorts of things. It can be the tape light built into your millwork to highlight the book titles in your bookcase. It can be recessed light in a shower, helping you better see the plumbing fixtures and where the shampoo is and where the soap is. Always think about the tasks that are being performed in this space and make sure to light them well. Accent lighting. Accent lighting is your bling in the space. We all like a little bit of bling in our spaces. Accent light will help draw your eye to different elements in the space. Like in this space here, if you take a look, this is a faux skylight. It's a 2-story living room. We couldn't show you the whole space, it's kind of hard. And what we did, what the lighting designer in this space did, is she took our TP8 light in 5000K and ran it around this faux skylight that has a lovely um, faux painting. What it helps you do is it doesn't just make you look up to the sky, to that sky there. It also lets you see the beautiful banister they selected. It makes your eye move around the whole room. Selecting color temperature. It's a very important and sometimes personal thing. So we offer fixtures in static color, which could be 27K, 3000K, 35K, 4000K, or 5000K. We also offer dim to warm and tunable white. Some of our fixtures are color selectable, and I'm going to share with you a personal story. We installed 2 Luna 2s above my kitchen sink, and when we installed them, I set the fixture to 27K, and my husband put them up into the ceiling, and we turned on the lights, and I said, "Doesn't that look wonderful?" And my husband said, "No." He pulled the 2 fixtures out of the ceiling. He set them back to 3000K, put them back up in the ceiling, and he goes, "Now it looks wonderful." So choosing the right color temperature can make a big difference in the space. And sometimes we all have our personal choices that we like, just like our favorite color, whether it's blue, green, or red. So dim to warm is a really nice option that we offer in the majority of our fixtures. And what the dim to warm fixtures allow you to do is to go using an ELV dimmer. It's very simple technology to take the light from 3000K and dim it all the way down to 2000K. And if you look at this project photo, this is from a real project photo where the client, the interior designer, selected dim to warm lunas for the whole space for all 3 stories, and was used everywhere except where we had art. And where we had art, we used our multiple Sigma 2 fixtures in a static 3000K so that the color of the art wouldn't shift. But if you take a look at this image, you see how inviting the dim to warm is walking into the space. Tunable white is another option that we offer with several of our fixtures, including the Helios 2 and some of the ALR fixtures. What does tunable white offer you? With tunable white, you can select the color temperature you want, you can control the color temperature, and you can control the intensity independently. So it allows you to choose what color you want at the time you want it, and it allows you to choose the intensity. It gives you the ability to mimic daylight in your house during the day and to dim down to a much warmer temperature as the sun sets or as the sun rises. So when you have a tunable white fixture like our Helios 2, it allows you to have total control of your environment. If you want to make the colors really nice and bright because you want to get a lot accomplished, turn it up to 4500K, turn it up to 5000K. If you're having a cocktail party or a dinner, dim it down to 27K. That's what's so wonderful about tunable white. It allows you to control your environment. It puts you in total control of your environment. A few other things to consider. I thought we would give you a few little pointers. So when lighting a kitchen, the first thing I always start with is the general lighting in the kitchen. And it allows me to fill the space with light, and then I have to think about other forms of lighting needed in the kitchen. A lot of times I love to use recessed lights in the kitchen, and we have our Lunas, our Sigma 2s, and our Helios, and choose, and they make wonderful options for the kitchen. Select your color temperature. A rule of thumb that I use to how far apart I space the recessed light in the ceiling, it's usually half the distance between the ceiling and the floor for the general lighting in the kitchen, and then as I get to the task lights over the sink or over the island, it's half the distance from the work surface to the ceiling. So for example, if your ceiling is 8 feet high, then the spacing of the lights is going to be 4 foot on center. If the work surface from your island to the ceiling is 4 feet, the fixtures will be around 2 foot on center. Always in a kitchen, you need to think about task lighting, and task lighting is not just under cabinet lighting. And you need to think of light over your sink and light over your island. What can accent lighting do for you in your kitchen? There's a lot of things you could do for accent lighting in your kitchen. You can light underneath the kick space all around the kitchen. You can light a beautiful range hood. You can have a hanging beautiful chandelier like you see in this kitchen, which is totally accent. The general lighting and work lighting is coming from all the recessed lights in this space. Bedroom lighting. We perform a lot of different tasks in the bedroom. We're getting dressed, we're tidying up, we're putting our clothes away. In the evening, we're probably reading a book before we go to sleep. These are varied functions that need different levels of light. And so you have to consider that in planning lighting for your kitchen. You want the lighting in the bedroom to be also warm and inviting. Use a mix of overhead lighting, table lamps, accent lighting to achieve all the lighting functions you need in a bedroom. And you can be a lot more creative in a bedroom than in other spaces, and personalize it to what you or your client needs. Bathroom lighting. Well, bathroom lighting, you have to always consider grooming, but where I start again is with the general lighting, and I always find either a decorative fixture that I like for the general lighting, but most times I prefer recessed lights. Our Luna fixtures are all wet location rated. They perform a wonderful job in the space. Our Helios can do the trick, and so can our Sigma 2s. Think about grooming and vanity lighting, and the ideal vanity lighting is 2 fixtures on either side of the mirror at 36 inches apart. Now, if you have the space to do that, that's wonderful and it's ideal, but if that's not possible, centering a light above the mirror to provide good lighting for your grooming is terrific. Think about also when you go into the shower, you need to have some recessed lights in the shower to help you see in the space. You also want to think about, you need added light for cleaning the space, so you will have different levels of light. Think about accent lighting in the bathroom as well. Light again underneath the kick space of the vanity. That can be a night light. That can also just be an accent light in the space. The other thing that is really fun to do is if you have a little niche in your bath, shower, or tub area that you want to light with wet location tape to give you some little sparkle in the space, that's wonderful to do as well. A lot of us have offices that also double as guest rooms and spaces. And in this particular application, what you want to think about is the needs of the people using the space as a bedroom, and you are primarily using it as an office space most of the time. So think about the general lighting. You can have 2 sconces on either side of the bed or 2 table lamps, but remember that you need task lighting over your desk. It would be helpful to have a few wall washers to highlight the art in the space, maybe some tape light into the millwork that can accent the collectibles that you have. These are all options that you have, and remember that the more you layer lighting into a space, the better the space will look. Hallways. Hallways are very interesting spaces, usually underutilized. And really you don't need a lot of light in a hallway. You just need to be able to pass through, make your way to the next room you're going to. So you don't need a lot of light, but you can take the space and make it maybe into a lovely gallery for art pieces you have or family photos. And there's nothing nicer than running some track down a hallway with a few track heads, highlighting the pieces you love, bouncing back into the space, giving you wayfinding light. Stairwells are places where you want a higher level of light than you would have in a hallway. You need to be able to go up and down the stairs very safely. One of the things that you can add to a hallway to a stairwell to make it much more interesting is some lovely step lights that can accent the steps, architectural features. It can also work as a night light that invites you to go to the other levels of the house. And if you see in this photograph here, we have our lovely mud and fossil fixtures that do a great job. Any questions?